Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. Coming at you live on a Friday. Uh, couldn't do a live last night like I normally do, so I decided we had our D&D game canceled for tonight. So I decided, well, I'll just do a live instead. So I hope everybody's doing well out there. We got ourselves a show and tell item for later. And I think I just made one hell of a mess inside the box because I had two separate piles of stuff in there, and now they're all mixed together, I think, by me doing that. But that is the pitfalls of doing a live. We're also going to talk about the our D&D campaign back here. Last week's session was a lot of what I like to call town adventures. We had to do some investigative work before going adventuring again. But we'll get into all that. I'll wait till there's some people in here. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let's see who we got here. Somebody's in here. We got one thumb up, so somebody's in here, even though it doesn't. When I go to participants, it's blank. So somebody's in here. So whoever you are, hope you're having a good night. While we're waiting, I will have some good German chocolate here with my coffee. Hey, Mistra. Hey, Mistra. Let's see if... Hey, Jonathan. How's it going? There's Jonathan. He's in our D&D group. I'm going to have some of my good German chocolate. I don't know, Mistra, do you guys have Ritter Sports from Germany over there in Norway? You guys get these? This is the peppermint. The peppermint with dark chocolate goes really good with coffee. So, Mistra, are you a chocoholic like me? Or are you just kind of like you can take it or leave it? Because I'm a full-blown chocoholic. Mainly dark chocolate for the most part, but it doesn't matter what kind of chocolate it is, really. Wearing the Dodger hat tonight. Oh, you're a cola-holic. I see. Well, I've had some pretty good craft colas that you'll find from time to time in stores and stuff like that. They'll have the good one with made from real cane sugar and all that stuff. I've had some good ones of those. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about. Well, I was saying that I got my Dodger hat on because I don't know. I know, Mister. I know you're a big basketball fan. But I don't know how you are with baseball, with American baseball. But we just lost Vin Scully, who was a major. He was probably he's the greatest sports announcer in my opinion, and most people's opinion. He's the greatest sports announcer in America of all time. So he did it for 70 years. He was a sports announcer for 70 years. You guys tuning in to the Sandman tonight. I wasn't, but now that you mention it, Let's see here. So I don't know anything about it. Oh, it's a Neil Gaiman. It's from a Neil Gaiman book, I guess. So I'm guessing by Jonathan. So Jonathan, I'm guessing that you must have read the book then, knowing what an avid reader you are. Um, I wasn't even aware. I had heard people talking about a show called The Sandman, but I didn't know the backstory on it at all. So yeah, I may have to watch the when I get done with this live later. I'll check out one of the best comics ever written, released in the '80s. So uh, was it a book first by Neil Gaiman, and then it was adapted as a comic, or did he do it as a comic? Okay, so Mister, just so you know, season three is extremely weak. It's the weakest of all the seasons of Stranger Things, and but season four, it redeems itself. So if you slog through season three, you make it through season three, you're good to go. Just for continuity, so you know what's going on in season four, you might just want to slog through it and get through it, and then season four, it redeems itself. So yeah, and that's pretty much what everybody's. That's pretty much the consensus is that seasons one and two were great. Season three, it went off the fucking rails. Season four, it went back on the rails. So yeah, I went ahead and I finished the show Shameless, and up until like yesterday, I did not know there was two different versions. I didn't know there was a UK version, and then the American version was made based on the UK version. Um, but I just finished watching. I ended up binge watching the last two seasons of Shameless just so I could get it off my to do list because that was on my to do list. And that was 11. That was an 11 season show. So I'm glad I finally got that one finished. Um, I wish they would do a spin off of it, but I doubt they will. But let's see. Jonathan says comic first until very recently, get revolutionary comes into a medium adult topics. Deep meaning can be okay. So that was the one. That was where it went from kids reading comic books when I in the '70s like me to become graphic novels basically. That's the you're saying that the Sandman is the bridge that bridged between the two and started the whole graphic novel, serious comics, type of a thing. Well, yeah, now you got me. Now you got me interested, Jonathan. So I'm gonna have to um, check out the trailer when we're done with this. I'll check out the trailer, and then that could be one of my next shows once I finish. Well, I don't think I can say I can finish Star Trek because Star Trek's got so much shit I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna try and basically mix in a few Star Trek episodes there, The Expanse, and Battlestar Galactica. I gotta finish Battlestar, the new season or the new series Battlestar Galactica, not the one from the '70s. But I got to get those from sci-fi standpoint. I got to get those all finished. Um, but I could piecemeal work this because it's only the first season. Work those in too. So let's see what this says here now. Okay. So participants looks like it's accurate now. So it's just the two of you. So Jonathan, if you're going to be in here for a minute, I'm going to kind of do the recap of the campaign, what we did last week. If I miss anything or make say anything wrong, correct me, please. If you're going to be in here for a minute. So, um, but uh, when so the session before last, we had fought this angel of death creature that was down in this dungeon that we had gone down into, and he had killed an NPC in our party. We had a henchman in our party, and he had killed him, and we escaped. We had to retreat because he was such a badass. And he said as he was leaving, he goes, "I am free now," or something like that. So we get back to my keep because it wasn't too far from the abbey that my cleric Clevite has. It's 2 miles away. So we retreat back to there, regroup and everything, and then we decide let's go back and retrieve our fallen comrade's body, because at ninth level I can do raise dead now as a cleric. So we went back, and before we even went, I did a spell that lets me basically call upon my deity to give me guidance, to say whether or not, to look towards uh, where we were going to be going, like to look almost to not like looking into the future, but it basically tells you, if there's any resistance, you can ask questions about any types of resistance you might face or whatever, and it will tell you whether you're going to, find numbers of creatures that you're going to have to fight or whatever. It's a way to communicate with your deity by basically through prayer and everything to get these answers. And basically, I did that, and it said that the path was clear, meaning we didn't have any resistance if we wanted to go back and get that body. Because that angel of death guy, when he said he was free, he left. He basically floated into the air and took off. So he is gone. So um, so we went back, got the body, came back. I did raise dead, and I'm trying to remember that character's name, that NPC, but I've got a list here. So I keep this is what I use for all my notes and stuff, and I've got tabs for different things here. Brother Varv was the one that we had to go get, and I raised him back and all that. And so while we're at the keep, after we raise him and everything, I get a message delivered to me. My character gets a message delivered from some sage that, and it was some cryptic message that I didn't quite understand. And so I decided we're going to have to travel and meet up with the guy. Well, first we went to a different city and asked about it and said, does this mean anything to you, to different scholars and things like that? And no one did. And so we went to the sage himself. And he basically said, well, one of your party members asked me to research that for you, about the door of doors, or the door within a door thing. And he basically said, I found the location for you and so forth. We did find two. Well, they found, because I had already left the dungeon. Jonathan's character and Stesh's character they went and did some searching in the dungeon while I took Varv back to raise him. They continued searching the dungeon for treasure and stuff, and they found some swords in a secret stash. Yeah, I was not there for that, but yeah, and I don't remember, he might put in there what those, because I think he got them identified what those swords were. They were both sentient swords, so they could communicate with the swords. Let's see. Mistress says, Angel of Death, is this an OG creature or a demon? Well, this is what our DM described it as. The way he described it sounds to me like a demon, but like an undead demon, the way it was described. So we're not really sure what it is. The DM would be the only one that would know at this point. We really don't know yet. But anyway, so we go to that sage. He tells us about this location, and he says, yeah, your other party member, Cal, it was the one who asked him to research all this. And Cal's character, that was Jonathan's character before the character he's playing now. And that character was killed. So we don't have, unless we do Speak with Dead or whatever, which we might do. We're not sure why he was having that researched. And that character was suspected of being evil, that he was trying to keep it from Clevite, that he was an evil character. And, Clevite doesn't know, but he was an evil character. He was an assassin. So we basically decide, that we're going to have to try and find out what this deal is with this door and door thing. And when we're in one of the cities, we see this, the DM says we see this like evil looking wizard dude that looks like somebody we recognize named Strotha Iola. And if you guys were following, like Mister, you were probably following way back that other in this campaign, way back when Cal and the other people were in this campaign. Strotha Iola, we actually, he was a member of the Council of Six, and we actually got him vanquished at his castle or whatever that was inside this one town. And he indeed was very evil. We got what we thought, we got him banished and everything. And then we see him now again in this other town, and he's got these two giant like creatures guarding him. And it was explained to us that they were a mix of troll and giant were these creatures. So they're called was it goals? I think they're called goals. Giants and troll mixed. So these are his bodyguards, and he was going to this school of the mage guild or whatever. And I go and get the head. When we see this, I go get the head guy from our temple, who's another same level as I am, powerful cleric. And I say, hey, look, check that out. And he goes, oh yeah, that's it turns out it was Strotha Iola's brother. We thought it was Strotha, so we were all freaking out thinking this guy had come back. And so it turned out that it was his brother, and nobody in the town wants to mess with this dude. He's apparently is very powerful, and we believe that because Strotha was very powerful, and he's got these two gigantic bodyguard things. So we're going to have to revisit that at some point and find out what that's all about, because he didn't do anything wrong. His character just went to the Mages Guild and so did his business or whatever. But there's something nefarious going on there. We're not sure what. But we left and went to this. No, this is he did not try to capture the sun. That was that crazy little gnome dude that literally captured the sun. So we go to the door, and we, after a lot of searching in the area, we find this entrance and get down into this dungeon. And I did, that's where I did do some, let's see here. I did some pictures that night, and I put them on Twitter. Let's see. I didn't do as many as I thought I did. I'm trying to remember what we fought. We ended up fighting some stuff down in, and I don't remember. I actually don't remember what we fought down in there. But we had a couple of battles down in this. If Jonathan's still here, he might remember. But we end up in this. We're in this thing that supposedly Cal is the one who wanted this researched, and we're inside here, and that's of course where we ended it. But we still don't know why he wanted it researched. So that's where we're at in the campaign. I'm sure there will be. We're canceled for tonight, but we should be playing. It looks like we'll be playing for next Friday for sure. But we'll have to go from there. So who else is in here? I think Jonathan left. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just me and Mister. Yeah, this well, I've got the so this map. This is how the DM has been between us and the DM. We've been basically mapping the game world that we've explored, and this is how we're doing it. And the reason that there's like all these blank spaces and so forth is because everything that's done in this game world, there's some more of it, is done by teleporter because and the Mage Guild manages the teleportation system, and it's like 10 gold per teleportation per person wherever you want to go, as long as there's a teleporter on the other end, obviously. And because it's known that the wilderness is too dangerous to travel any other way. That's why everybody goes by teleportation. Now, of course, we have, because we're adventurers, we have gone out in the wilderness and done things, and it is very goddamn dangerous. So that's why a lot of times it's you just teleport to these different cities, and if you need to go, like we had to go out into the wilderness to find this door within a door thing. Um, so um, that's where we're at right now. We're still trying to figure out who all the members of the Council of Six of these evil mages are. We've dealt with Stratha Iola, um, and we know some of the other names of these initials, but we've only basically dealt with the one that we've banished or whatever. So, by the way, good news for Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous, September 29th console release, but also for PC players get free update to the enhanced edition. Oh, awesome! Um, yeah, and I think I've asked you this before. I think you said that the first Pathfinder, is it Kingslayer, whatever it is, the one before that one, you were saying that you don't necessarily have to have played that one to play this one, for continuity. Because I know that one's on sale all the time. The first one, Kingmaker. I think it's Kingmaker. Um, and I know a lot of people that have been playing that Stray, that cat game, and everybody loves it. Did you try that yet, Mister? Yeah, Stesha, who's in our group, she's been playing Stray like crazy. Imagine if one of the council are Kelvin Blackstaff. Well, now I gotta Google who that is. Lord Mage of Waterdeep. So it's look, is that specifically for fifth edition that he shows up? Let's see here. Because I, from Forgotten Realms, I know Elminster from earlier editions. Let's see here. Information. Lawful neutral, magic user. Okay, so second edition. So they have different for different editions. They have different stats for him. Let's see here. Oh, one of the few spellcasters to become one of Mystra's chosen. Well, there you go. Kelvin was resurrected by Mystra to become the chosen of Mystra. Now I know why you brought that up. Hey, Chupa, how are you? They all simps for your magic. Well, I'm sure that that goes for any deity in D&D, right? That everybody, all the followers are simps for them, right? Okay, so Elminster was more famous, but yeah, and again, I wasn't the big Forgotten Realms guy. That was my buddy Finn. He was the DM for the Forgotten Realms stuff, and then Jonathan in our current group uh, he loved Forgotten Realms. He was DMing in Forgotten Realms before he decided to do his own homegrown campaign world. So see, I'm because I'm the Greyhawk guy. Morden Kanan and Rigby and Bigby. Those are the you know the ones that I think of. Well, and you're not alone, Mister. Most people are obviously Forgotten Realms is the predominant game world, so most people are going to know that. Few people are going to know Greyhawk now because Greyhawk hasn't been the official game world since third edition. I don't think it might have been some of fourth edition, maybe. Um, but and then Dragonlance has never really been. Um, yeah, Bigby's clenching fist, Bigby's crushing hand, and then Morden Kanan was like the Elminster. He was like the head magic user of Greyhawk, basically. Yeah, if the Neverwinter Nights games, you would have seen those, and Baldur's Gate. They would have been in any of those. You would have had those spells. Yes. And Rigby, I don't think Rigby was even a magic user. I think he was. He was a cleric. That's right. I knew he was a spellcaster of some kind. Yeah, Rigby was a major cleric of Bokob and companion to the Archmage Morden Kanan. Because you had the circle of 8 in Greyhawk were all the high level dudes. So Bigby, Rigby, Morden Kanan, Tensor, um, and there's a bunch of Melf. I think was in the Circle of 8, which is Luke Gygax's character. That's where Melf's acid arrow comes from. That was Luke Gygax's actual character when he played with his dad. Um, he created it. So Luke actually created that spell, Melf's acid arrow. He came up with the idea for that, and his dad put it into the game. So, so that takes care of the campaign update. I want to do this a little bit here. This is the show and tell stuff. This is the for second edition. I looked it up. Came out in '93. This is the Cardmaster Adventure Design deck for AD&D, and I've never really used this as a tool. But after looking at it a little bit to in preparation for this video, I might actually use it next time I DM. At least for some of it, it looks kind of interesting. So you get it's not a very big instruction manual. You get an instruction manual, and then there's some tables, some simple tables on the back. And um, so what this is, Chupa, is basically it's a bunch of cards that you have location decks. You have 2 location decks, and what these are basically um, different dungeon tiles. So there's a 20-foot wide corridor, and of course, so these are chests. So you're looking down, top down. That's the dungeon floor, and there's a door. There's some chests. There's a door over here, and so that is basically as you're going, this is set up to where you could even play solo. So you would have the deck and you would just start out, say, at the dungeon door, and then you would start drawing cards, and it would say, okay, you open up the door, you open up, say, this door, and you have a thin hallway, a 10-foot wide hallway with another door here. And then you go to this door, and then you would draw another card. And then let's say you draw the next card, and it has, we'll say you come in from this direction here, like, so you would come in this door, and it's a room. And now you have a fire pit in the middle, a door over here, and so forth. So, so that is what the location deck is for. Is basically so you can create dynamic maps even solo. You could do that, and then you have a treasure deck, which is all random treasure items like this. So you got Staff of Striking, Beaker of Cures, and there's even traps. There's a pit trap, spear trap. So basically, using these cards, you could even do it solo, it says. And you get, I think these are like starting areas. So, and I guess you would cut these out maybe. I'm not sure how that would work. This almost looks like you would cut these out, or are these stickers? No, they're not stickers. You'd have to cut them out. And I'm sure I'd have to read some more into the rules and everything. But it's basically, it allows you to, either as the DM, to do a dynamic where, let's say you don't have anything prepared and you guys are just want to sit around and dungeon crawl. The DM can use these cards to basically create a dungeon on the fly using the cards and describing it, as the cards are open, as they're revealed. And then there's even where'd the other one go? Location. And then there's a monster deck. And so then there's a monster deck, and it would have, so there's a huge scorpion. And so skeletons. So basically you have the rooms of the dungeon that you can do dynamically, and then you can draw monsters and treasure. So it's basically a way to do dynamic dungeons on the fly. And again, you could even do it solo, it says. So it's an interesting idea, I think. It's an interesting tool for sure. So that is the Card Master Adventure Design Deck. You could even use it to do ahead of time for the DM. The DM could do all this ahead of time, just randomly by drawing cards, and then basically map it, and based upon what cards he or she draws, map it, put it on an actual map, draw the cards for the monsters and the treasure, and make your own dungeon right then before anybody even shows up, and then you already have it ready to go. So you could do it ahead of time. You could do it while they're there. You could even do it solo. Okay, so let me get caught up here because I think I missed a bunch of stuff here. Let's see here. Do I remember Clouth from Neverwinter Nights? What a bastard! It's been so long since I played the game. I do not recall that name specifically, but I finished the game, so I'm sure I ran into him. Traps always remind me of rogues. Absolutely. Speaking of Kingmaker, has a 200 floor dungeon with traps. Oh, wow. Well, that sounds awesome. He's the ancient, huge red dragon. Okay. Well, now, yeah, I do remember the dragon. I just forgot his name was Clouth. There we go. Hey, Chupa, if you're still here, um, I know you live. I think it's in the Midwest somewhere or the East. Um, I'm sure even you remember Vin Scully, right, from the Dodgers, because everybody in the country knew who he was. I'm interested to know if you're not from LA, if you, I'm assuming you know who he was, but if you have memories of him. New York, okay, yeah. So you definitely know from when the Dodgers and the Yankees would play World Series and stuff like that. Good old Vin Scully. So that's why I was wearing the LA hat today. I don't wear it very often, but crap on it too. Mainly because as I've aged, my head's gotten fatter, and this is a fitted hat, so it's one size. It doesn't adjust. 7 1/4, and my hat it's tight because my head's getting bigger as I get older. Oh, I wanted to dip into the because I saw some gaming news stuff here. Let's see here. I wanted to dip in there. Let's see here. What did I see? Oh, so I don't forget this. Uh, for those that are in here, what do you guys think of the announcement that they're making the Joker 2, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker? They're making the sequel to it. Um, and they've announced that Lady Gaga will be in it. And everybody's assuming that she's going to be playing Harley Quinn. Um, and the weird part is that they're saying it could be a musical or like a semi musical, which, okay. Um, but having seen Lady Gaga's acting in American Horror Story and then Stars Born, and I did not see her in the House of Gucci or whatever, but I've seen her in a few other things. She's a pretty damn good actress. So her and she might be bizarre enough to pull off Harley Quinn perfectly. Belluar friend Matt made a video of 14 estimated to have 2 million to 2.5 million. I believe that. I would believe it might even be higher than that, Mister. Well, and it could be a dark musical. I mean, the Phantom. I never thought I'd like Phantom of the Opera, and I loved Phantom of the Opera. My wife took me kicking and screaming to go see Phantom of the Opera. The actual play, and I loved it. And we went back saw it a second time. Um, so yeah, I mean, if it's done well, um, I think she could pull it off. I mean, American Horror Story. If you didn't see uh, Gaga in American Horror, she played the villain in that crazy shit, and that was a crazy ass show. Um, yeah, Harley Quinn's not a stretch from what she did in American Horror Story. So now, whether or not she could do how well she'll do the voice, that's a different story. But as far as the manic part of it, I think she could get that down no problem. Chupa says he hasn't seen the first one. You haven't seen the first Joker, huh? I loved it. Now I like Mistress said, if I'm gonna watch stuff like that and it's about a dark character, by God, they better get it right, and they better. And Joaquin Phoenix was awesome. I mean, Heath Ledger was incredible as the Joker, and Joaquin Phoenix was just as good, if not better, which is saying something. Yeah, the first Joker movie, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it, Chupa. Um, 2 million to 2.5 million active. So that is stellar. That's pretty damn good. Active. I mean, I don't even know, and that's not counting alts or anything. So or free trial accounts. If they're truly active, yeah, that's a lot of players. Because I don't even know when World of Warcraft was at its heyday, where it had like 15 million players or whatever. I have no idea how many of those at that time were active, how many were, if they were counting alts, who knows, what that count was. But uh, yeah, 2 to 2.5 mil, that's that's strong. So okay, so now that we talked about that, let's go back to the gaming news stuff that I was looking at here. Mhm. Did anybody see Shazam? I never saw Shazam. Apparently, it was actually pretty good. I don't know why I wasn't. I was not. I didn't feel compelled to see Shazam, but maybe that's an oversight. Maybe I should have. Let's see here. Elden Ring player encounters Teddy Roosevelt co-op player. Okay, I might have to read a little bit more into that. Let's see here. Let's go back here. Chupa says he saw Shazam. It was okay. Okay. Um, See that, and I heard a lot of people say that it was good, and that they were taken by surprise by it. But I know they're making a second one, so that's why I was asking about the first one. It's like, well, if it did well enough for a sequel, it'll be interesting to see um, what some of you folks thought about it. So let's go to PC Gamer and see what they're talking about here. I did hear about this. There's a MMO de- developer that, after admitting their MMO sucks, developer reworks the entire game. Survival MMO Lost Oasis replaces its mobile forts with static bases and now focuses on PvE rather than PvP. So they scrapped the whole damn thing and started over. Wow. Damn. That's that's saying something. I mean, if you think about that, Shazam is in the Black Adam trailer. Okay. I have not seen the Black Adam trailer yet. So that's the one The Rock is playing, right? The name of the company is trying to find the name of the company here. I'm going to. I can't find the name of the company here. I'm going to put this here so you guys, if you want to look at it, you can. Still trying to find the name of the damn company. The name of the game is Lost Oasis, but trying to find the name of the company. Wow, this is terrible. PC Gamer, how can you not? How can I be this far into the article and you not mention who the what the name of the developer is? Okay. Well, I'm gonna pull up Steam and see if it's on Steam because that'll tell me for sure. There's a pretty big Steam sale going on right now. If you didn't know about it, by the way, the Survival Fest for anybody that is interested. I don't think it's even on here. The developer is Donkey Crew. That is the name of the developer. It is an early access game. It has mixed on the reviews. It has mixed. So yeah, I've never heard of that company. So, but I mean, that's kind of I respect the fact that they recognized it that they needed to start over and they're starting from scratch again, reworking the whole thing. So most companies would not do that. Of course, Warner Brothers just shit canned. Was it Batgirl because they for whatever reason and they'd already put like $90 million into it and they scrapped it. Well, here's an unnerving story. Activision Blizzard earned more on mobile games last quarter than PC and consoles combined. That's not alarming at all. Well, I really don't give a shit about Activision Blizzard because I don't play any of their games now, but it's not a good, it doesn't bode well for PC gaming if all these companies realize it and start making more mobile shit because they can make more money at it. Because nobody, you'll still have indie developers, which I guess is better anyway. So it probably can end up being a good thing. Who knows? Batgirl is different from Batwoman, right? Because that show was a flop. Yeah, Batwoman like was a piece of shit from what I hear. Batgirl was an actual movie, as far as I know, and it's different, yes. But they shit canned it. So Batgirl 2022 film, action superhero. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO defends axing Batgirl. Um, let's see here. Yeah. Irredeemable Batgirl movie gets shelved by Warner Brothers. Despite $70 million price tag, which I heard it actually was actually $90 million. Now that doesn't mean I don't know if they're finished filming it or not, but if they're finished filming it, it could end up I guess they could sell it to somebody maybe. Um, I don't know. Diablo Immortal made 100 million so far. Well, yeah, I'll never know anything about it because I'm not going to play it until the day that they announce Bobby Kotick is no longer as part of the company. I won't. Yeah, then I'll get into dabbling around with Dragonflight and all that shit and all that. But until then, nope. Honestly, most of that money comes from people with mental issues. It's not even good, but some people are hooked on gambling. Yeah, there's well that and that gets into a whole deeper issue about it actually being gambling because of loot boxes and stuff like that. and the damage that can do, especially with children. Um, who you hear all those stories about, their kid rang up, you know, $2,000 in loot box transactions on the parents' credit card or whatever, shit like that. It, it's bad business, man. Yeah. Well, yeah. Uh, Netherlands and Belgium have both they took the hard line on anything with loot boxes, and they said nope. They're not doing it's basically gambling, and it's there's no safety net for someone to not get out of control and spend their entire fucking rent money on stupid loot boxes or whatever, because they have that, what Mister's talking about, and a mental issue where they're compulsive gamblers. They can't control it, like an alcoholic. It's a disease where they can't control it, and they you it takes over their body, takes over their mind, their body, everything. And the same thing with these damn loot boxes. Um, so yeah, the as soon as microtransactions became a thing in gaming, that was that was horrible. Um, I don't know who started it with skins, and for weapon skins and hats. It could have been Team Fortress 2. I don't know. Team Fortress 2 has been around a long time. Um, but I'm sure somebody had to have been doing it before them. But I went back and played Team Fortress 2 the other day, and the gameplay is basically the same. But you get all these people that are trading cosmetics that you're talking about there, Mister. Whether it's just weapon skins, hats, whatever, they don't have any effect on the gameplay. But they're paying real money, real currency for cosmetic shit. And yeah, I don't. And again, try not to judge people. That's their thing. If they enjoy it or whatever, I just can't wrap my head around spending that kind of money on cosmetic stuff in the game. That's why the NFT thing makes no sense to me. I don't. The NFT thing will never make sense to me. Um, hey, Bipedal is here. How you doing there, Bipedal? Let's have us a little Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar. Yeah, I got no problem with cosmetics and stuff in game and all that, but like in Team Fortress 2, there will be a weapon that somebody wants just because it's a I forget the different categories they have for them. Um, there's ones from like the Halloween events and stuff that was the only time you could get them, and they're no real there's no operational difference to the weapon, but people are paying these ridiculous prices in real cash for them. I'm doing pretty good. You're having issues with a leaky garage. Um, yeah, the knock on wood, we've been having some pretty heavy thunderstorms go through. Knock on wood, no leaks so far. I'm crossing my fingers because they've been some pretty heavy downpours, and you know, uh, so we have 3 floors. We have this is the basement, and then you have the main floor, and then we have an upstairs, and then there's an attic above that. So maybe the attic helps. There could be leak. I've never looked up in the attic to see if if there's any leaking up in the attic, and it just luckily doesn't make it down to But so far so good. So yeah, I'll be having some beers too by Peter once the wife gets home. So That's why Lost Ark lost over 700,000 players. Horrible pay to win. Yeah, that started out like gangbusters, didn't it? Lost Ark. Yeah, and well, the good news is being in the basement is I've taken all the steps, like my shelving and everything. Everything's in plastic containers, and I have them on the shelves that are up way up off the ground. So um, I have everything pretty protected. Not to mention, I mean, I have insurance on everything. So, um, but yeah, uh, I've I've tried to take all the necessary steps. So, by the way, if you guys don't know, there's things called water bugs that are sensors that you put in your house wherever you think there could be a possible leak at some point. And it basically ties right into your security system. And it's just two connectors that you put on the ground or wherever it is, and you just screw it like to the wall or where right by that part of the ground where you think there might be a leak or something. And if there's ever water that gets there that connects that allows connectivity between the two, current flow between the two, it sets off your alarm, and it'll even alert you on your phone through the app and all that stuff. So let's say that where your hot water heater is. So the hot water heater is in that closet right back there. Um, right back where that green right there. And so in there, I've got a water bug in there so that if the hot water heater ever starts leaking, it'll set off the alarm and let me know that it's leaking. Same thing where the washer and dryer are. I've got a water bug there, and I have one in the kitchen uh, by like the sink and the refrigerator and all that stuff, so that if there's ever any water leaks. And the idea is it lets you know, even, and if you're not home, you'll get a notification on your phone so that if there's a leak, it doesn't go on for so long that it floods your house or whatever. It gives you basically a advance warning saying, "Hey, you have a leak in your house, and you can get home hopefully to get the water shut off or whatever before you have a huge problem." Anyway, they're called water bugs. They're cheap. They tie right into your security system. Depending upon whatever security system you have, you can just there will be water bug. That's what we call them. That's the term that they're called. But they're like leak detectors or whatever the technical term is. Um, so I highly recommend if you have a house or whatever stuff that you would be worried about if you had a leak, uh, and if the leak got bad, I suggest getting water bugs for your security system. So, um, I'm in Scotland, so you can get rain for literally days. We have had mad specs for render, rough cast for water penetration. Everything is extreme. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so um, that was one of the things that I first did when we first moved in. I got the security system put in, and I asked them. I said, "You guys are there water bugs that'll work with this security system?" And they said yes. And I said, "I want one by the hot water heater. I want one in the kitchen, and I want one where the washer is, the clothes washer." And because that's the three places that if you're going to have a bad leak, those are the three places it's going to be. So that's your friendly neighborhood security expert advice for the day. So we're almost at an hour here. Are there any questions? Anybody's got anything about anything? Comments, questions, concerns, um, any of that good stuff? I build silly stuff with microprocessors. So you could probably make one then, bipedal. So you could just, yeah, you could make a simple one. Yeah, it's just control voltage at the sensor from the sensor to the transmitter, and you could even, I'm sure there's wireless ones out there, um, but mine are hardwired. But oh, so you do all of it. You do all your entire. You do all your own security system, server, all that stuff. Nice. If you get Kingmaker or Wrath of the Righteous, can you make a video or two about it? Sure, absolutely, Mister. Hey, Eddie. Edward, you came in right as we're getting ready to shut it down. But since you're here now, Edward, have you seen this before? Have you seen the Cardmaster Adventure? What is it? The Adventure Deck Design Deck. Have you seen this before for second edition? There's the there's the back. It was made in '93. Okay, so Edward, you may want to just go back when you can watch this on replay, because I did this as the show and tell for today. It's a pretty interesting product, so you may want to check it out on the replay later on the channel. So it was I actually might use it. I've never used it. I've owned it. I guess I bought it new. I must have bought it new. Um, but I might actually use it next time I DM, just for shits and giggles. So I might try it out. So. All right, guys. Let's see here. So yeah, Kingmaker or Wrath of Righteous. If I do, I can certainly do a video too about it. Let's see. I think that's it. All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend. We're not playing tonight, so there won't be any tweets because there's no game tonight. So, thank you, Bipedal. Oh, speaking of that, I'm real close. I'm like, I'm under five. I think I'm under 500 hours now of total watch time for the year to becoming monetized. You need 4,000, and I'm over 3,500 now. And I've almost been retired from the day job I retired from. September next month. September will be a year. So, um, thank you, Mister. Um, I'm hoping once I get to that year mark, I might be over the point where I can get monetized, and then we can do super chats. I think you can do it once you get monetized. You can do super chats and some other stuff. I think you can do subscriptions, and there's other features that you can use once you get monetized. So, thanks, Chupa. Appreciate it. Bipedal says one thing. Since we spoke about your table, I had tons of YouTube suggestions about how to build a gaming table. Also, yeah, I've seen a lot. I can't remember. Even before we built this, I think we were um, checking them out. And there was a lot of good do-it-yourself videos about how to build one or whatever. And Brad, his son is the one who has the full shop in his garage. Um, Brad had the idea of the full piece of oak as the tabletop, and then basically the 2x4s and 4x4s as the structure part of it. And they had all the right tools and everything, so it worked out perfectly. So Oh, YouTube hit you with this suggestions. Coincidence? Um, yeah, it's a I think it's 8 foot. It's an 8 foot table. Um, and it's a little higher than a normal table. Which, if we ever do tabletop wargaming, generally you stand when you do those because you got to move your units and stuff around. So it's actually a little higher. So it's good for um, D&D and stuff like that, but it also be good for like tabletop wargaming and stuff. So that's it. That's interesting. Oh yeah, I've seen the ones with like screens, LCD, LED screens and stuff in them. Yeah, I you can go bananas with it. Um, Maybe there'll be a time at some point that I decide to do that, but not yet. It's kind of interesting you said that about YouTube hitting you up with suggestions. Um, yeah, uh, there's no question that like Facebook and YouTube, I think both data mine from voice, like hearing your content. Even like Facebook will you'll start getting ads on Facebook for shit you were talking about. Um, Facebook's listening. Now it doesn't bother me, but that's a big privacy issue thing, and I'm sure YouTube does the same thing. But yeah, because there's been times where me and my wife have just talked about something, and next thing you know, on my Facebook, I'm getting ads for what we talked about. And it's like didn't make a post about it, didn't no, just talked about it. So yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, we will catch you on the flip side. And I would cheers you with a beer, but like I said, the wife's not home yet, so cheers with a soda.